really cool company, Smabbler. These guys are doing at-scale business with Schneider Electric globally. 20 different languages, 10 million emails scraped a year, and internal documents to basically take insights that are out there and identify return and recall problems 6 to 12 months early. Which, think about it, if you're getting recall and return information, you're in consumer electronics, aerospace, manufacturing, and you can do it 6 to 12 months faster than the competition, year over year over year. Think about the compounding effect of your market share.
My name is Luke. I'm the CEO of a technology company called Smabbler. We deal in the area of knowledge discovery, specifically for quality and manufacturing. My background, it's also I'm coming from manufacturing industry in Whirlpool, industrial engineering, internal audit, and surprise, surprise, also quality management. So, like any other business process, quality has its nightmares, and we can name them, right? They are returns, warranties, and in the worst case scenario, recalls. And recalls are bad. Everybody knows that. But what's even worse than the actual, the quality management when they hears about recalls? It's the sales people when they see a drop in sales and a drop in revenue. And I can maybe put some kind of example from the public domain. In 2014, GM had, due to faulty ignitions, had an exposure of over $2 billion in compensation costs. So as we can imagine, recalls can be really, really hurtful. What is also, I think, important is that these type of, if you could ask the question maybe now, what would happen if GM was able to anticipate, see that potential faulty signal of faulty elements months before, right? How much they would how much would there be maybe before it would escalate, and how much less of faulty products, maybe hundreds, maybe even thousands of products would be already exposed on the market with the risk. So these type of elements, these type of risks, these are common across the industries, whether you're in consumer electronics, whether you're in manufacturing, aerospace, they always work the same, right? And overlooking this type of so maybe another example would be from my experience. There was a company that overlooked a signal of a bad quality on the market. And what is interesting that after it was followed by the company's one of the largest recalls in its history. And what actually happened? That information was available to the company. It was precisely written by a customer in an email. It came to the agent, and it was classified wrongly. Instead of going into quality and troubleshooting department, it went to ordering, pricing, etc. Right? And what would that company have? The kind of opportunities they would have if they were able to identify, have precise classifications of these incoming emails, have a precise extraction of the knowledge in those kind of communications, and be able to react, with appropriate, months earlier reaction. These nightmares can be prevented. Yes, there are two main approaches in the market. So one is manual, one is using expert solutions. The problem is with manual is that there is the signals and the information coming is overwhelming. If you can imagine a large corporation that is working internationally, you have millions of emails coming in across the globe from different product lines, etc. And no person is able to manually manage them, right? They cannot classify it manually because the cognitive ability of the person of the human is not, maximum they can manage 20 categories, maximum 1 deep, but that level of knowledge is not satisfactory to actually make any informed decisions, right? It's too general. So something very specific has to be available. At the same time, any other expert systems that are utilized in the company, which are based on either machine learning, language understanding, anything which is currently state-of-the-art on the market, they have, with such diverse topics, they have an accuracy of 50-60%. Well, that is absolutely not satisfactory to actually make any decision because the data in that way is not trustworthy. So knowing that manually you are not able to actually analyze these millions of emails because maximally statistically 1% of the emails are actually analyzed deeply and the rest is not. Knowing that automation is automated solutions are required. Why and they're not really satisfactory? Why are we still doing that? Why are we still trying to approach this topic? Well, because as the companies, as the economy is growing, everyone is becoming a technology company, right? Data is becoming more important and decision-making process and so on. And if we can imagine different let's say stakeholders, different people working in a company, it's like the increasing change and the demand from the customer that is important to understand as quickly as possible for the customer care manager. If we talk about let's say know that the competitive landscape is moving forward, everyone is digitizing, is utilizing the data. Well, the worst case scenario for a CEO is to find out that he's behind his competitors, right? If we talk about shortening the product life cycles, well, this is important to knowing that these cycles are shortening. You have to be able to get information about any possible defects of your product as fast as possible to include in the most early stage of the most upcoming cycle of product updates. And same if you talk about the quality of the data, and the insight in the company, that is it's just as good as what the systems that you have in the company, right? So if that means also the CDOs or the chief data officers role also increases, and at the same time local teams, because now in a global world, any local problem, any local issue automatically becomes a global issue. So the exposure is vital. What is needed, right? I mean, if you categorize different elements coming from the communication from the clients, right, they can be in different written in the same topic is written in different ways. So you can write burnt, you can write spark, you can say it's fire hazard, and that's why it's not sustainable if you do it manually, because everyone is writing about the same topic in a different way, right? So what is required? Something which is able, and that is even compounded if you have multiple languages, right? Because that means you have multiple ways of writing the same topic in multiple languages globally, and you actually lose the visibility. So you need something which is able to precisely, in depth, multi-level detailed extract this information and contextualize it, so to make it aggregated into one common description, and do that at the same time with the different languages, to have one common view of what is happening across the organization, across the globe, across different product portfolios, to see what is happening. So how we do that? So in our architecture, so it's important also to understand that these type of AI projects, if you look at what is available on the market, right? These AI projects last a long time. They're very expensive, usually 1 year, maybe $1 million or more, and actually the results are not really visible. So what would be perfect? Perfect would be something which is not intrusive. So no one from the management will kill someone who puts those information, puts that solution in there. Keeps the same process going. It's just enriching in an intelligent way, enriching the data available in the data flow of the process. So and also what is also important to be able to let's say have it in an automatic way, update those that we saw the previously categorizations, to keep up let's call this taxonomies or knowledge buckets of the company, to keep it always fresh, to keep it always updated, to not require experts to waste their time to keep up and maintain these type of categorizations. So again, to recap, what is important? Being on the let's say the bleeding edge, have something automated. Second, something which is very precise. Third, something which is very easily deployable in days and not months, and can globally provide this view of this 360 view of what the customer is actually talking about in those emails in a very precise way. So if we maybe recap and go back to the original question, if you remember, what would happen if GM had such a solution and was able to anticipate and identify this growing faulty condition months before, how much millions they would save, or would this problem even occur? Right. So thank you. And so this is something that we'd love to talk about. If you have any questions or you want to interact, or maybe some kind of webinar or short call that we can have, we can explain to your teams or kind of from the discussion. Please feel free to contact me, and I'll be happy to discuss the effects what we have with our current customers.